I've learned so much about myself. I've learned so much about others. Being a volunteer organization, it's not like the military. You can't just tell people what to do. I mean, we're a team. We work together. We collaborate on things. And it's really helped me form a lot of great relationships. Just growing as a person and understanding different morals and values. I feel like it's made me a better person, for sure. Continuing to serve just makes me happy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Unfinished Business Podcast, a podcast for veterans pursuing new life missions. Sheena Lawless embodies the essence of a passionate advocate for veterans' rights, tirelessly amplifying their voice and recognizing their invaluable contributions. As the first female commander of Frisco VFW Post 8273, her leadership not only showcases her unwavering dedication, but also represents a significant milestone, now in her 5th term and leaving a lasting impact since the post founding in 1968. Additionally, her vital role on Mayor Jeff Cheney's Frisco's Veterans Advisory Committee exemplifies her steadfast commitment to driving positive change within her community. Sheena's leadership and dedication are still leaving its mark on the Frisco community, recently through her current role in hosting the Wall That Heals in Frisco, Texas, a 3-quarter touring replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial and Mobile Education Center. The Wall That Heals is set to arrive in Frisco on May 2nd through the 5th at Grand Park. It's an exhibit that symbolizes healing and remembrance, providing veterans with a safe space to confront and find peace in their past. I've been looking forward to this long overdue reunion and conversation with the commander of VFW Post 8273, Sheena Lawless.
Thanks, Raj.
Sheena, it's great to see you.
Yes,
great to have you.
So good to see you too.
Yeah.
I need to hire you as my hype man or something. Thank you. Where did you get all that?
That's awesome.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Wow.
it's all
I'm flattered.
Yeah, I think I hit all the marks. I've known you for a while, and it's really easy to kind of pinpoint what you're doing and the impact that you've created in the community.
Thank you, Raj. That's so sweet of you.
Absolutely. You know, Sheena, I was thinking about it before. This is, when we first started this journey together. I say together, right? Like in some way, in some supernatural way, we've been going through this journey together. You were junior vice commander when I first met you.
Yes.
And I was just getting kickstarting with doing stuff in the veteran community with More Digital Media Broadcast Network with my own company and just trying to get out there, get my name recognition. And I'll never forget.
Now look at you. You're big time now. I'm just glad to be back.
I brought me a suit and got me some new kicks. No,
yeah,
I'm just kidding.
That's awesome.
No, it's been a blessing to go down this journey with you. I remember sweating bullets going to the Mayor Jeff Cheney's Veterans Social. The very first time, I remember being real nervous.
Yeah.
When I got home, I was like, man, I don't know if I did it okay, all this stuff.
You were pumped up. No, it's always nerve-wracking to be around a bunch of different new people, but you did it, and I tell people all the time, find your network, be plugged in.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
That's crazy. For a long time, I avoided this situation. I avoided, going through this, and now I have a podcast, but I always attribute it to this one person who gave me the opportunity to sit down and have a conversation with her. And that was you.
It was me?
It was you. Yeah, you're the first veteran.
Raj. You're so sweet.
You actually are the very first veteran I've ever interviewed. So
really?
Yes, at
Awesome.
the very beginning. Yes,
Awesome.
Absolutely. Well, now you're 5 years into it, and and it's been quite a journey. I would like to give the audience just a little bit of a snapshot of what the last 5 years have been like for you and what you've gained through the process.
Oh wow, so much has happened. Just continuing to get plugged in the veteran community, meeting new people, strengthening my relationships with others, and just being a leader of this amazing organization has taught me so much. I myself as a veteran have learned so many available resources and things just over the years. Specifically the VFW and its mission. We help all veterans regardless of status, and as they're still serving, as they're transitioning out of the military, and long after they return home. So, VFWs, we get a bad rap. We got this stereotypical, our mantra here in Frisco is to rewrite the perception of your local VFW, and we're community focused, family driven, and Yeah, I know I'm biased, but we're the best in Texas.
And you know what? I have to agree. Well, this is my first involvement with the VFW in the capacity that you and I have known each other, and that I will say that you are rewriting whatever a narrative there is. It's such an exciting opportunity to see you have all the difference that you're making in the community and being part of all these different people that are sponsors and people that are donating to VFW and seeing it in this really intimate setting in Frisco, Texas, and beyond.
Oh, I appreciate that, Rush. I really do. But I've got a hell of a team.
Yeah.
It's not just me up there. There is a lot of amazing leaders that I lean on a daily basis to make this organization as great as it is. So, I want to make sure that that's said, because it's not all just me up there. There's a lot of us behind the scenes that are working really hard. We're all volunteers.
Yeah.
We do this. We have regular day jobs. We do this as a side gig, but it's a way for us to continue to serve after we've hung up our uniform.
Well, I got a few more chairs that I can bring,
Yeah.
and I can meet those guys. I would get them out of behind the curtains and get them in the front
Yes.
and give them their due recognition, because it's well deserved for all y'all at the VFW
Absolutely.
Post 8273.
That's right.
Awesome. When you started this journey as the commander, what were some of the strategies that you implemented to increase engagement and participation in the veteran community?
Yeah, when you first start out as a leader, people don't really understand or know what you're capable of, right? It's your chance to shine. It's your chance to show them, what we can do and the next level that we can take this thing. The VFW Post here in Frisco has been around since 1968. It's amazing. It's an amazing organization. But when I was able to take over, I was able to bring some fresh new ideas, really catapult us into current times with technology and family involvement and community service. And so those are the types of things that I really felt that I could bring to the table. And once people start being involved in things and seeing the good that we're doing in the community, they naturally just want to be a part of us. And, we welcome all our support. We've got our motorcycle group, our auxiliary, and we're about to start a new adventure in the VFW by standing up a pup tent, which is a military order of the cooties. And that organization in itself is really exciting because it gets to bring fun and joy to veterans that may be in long-term facilities and things like that. A lot of people compare the cooties to the Shriners, like the Shriner clowns that come in and spread joy.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do.
That is awesome. I can't wait to see that evolve.
It'll be exciting.
Yeah, I got to be a part of that somehow in some way.
Yep.
In what ways has leading the VFW Post 8273 influenced your personal growth and understanding of veterans issues? I know you mentioned it at the beginning, but can you expand on that?
Personal growth, huge, right? I've learned so much about myself. I've learned so much about others. Being a volunteer organization, it's not like the military. You can't just tell people what to do. I mean, we're a team. We work together. We collaborate on things. And it's really helped me form a lot of great relationships. Just growing as a person and understanding different morals and values. I feel like it's made me a better person, for sure. Continuing to serve just makes me happy. It makes me really happy.
That's awesome. I think, it's like watching. I'm sure there has to be a balance, right, from individual and collective values as an organization, right? When you look at the overall spirit of the VFW Post 8273 right now, what would be 3 words that you would describe it?
Dynamite, leaders, and let's see, one more. Let's focus on family friendly.
Awesome. That's awesome. Okay, we're here to talk about one important thing also that's going on. It's very meaningful, and you're spearheading it. It's called The Wall That Heals.
That's right.
Share a little bit about it.
So the Frisco VFW, we put in our name in the hat with the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund. They are located in Washington, D.C. We put in a bid last year around Memorial Day, about this time last year, and there's hundreds of people that apply for this wall to come to your communities, and we were selected. We were selected based off of our past experiences on what we can do and our bandwidth and how we would be able to handle such a massive project. And when we took it to the team of our membership, everybody was like all in. They were excited. And then when we were notified that we were selected, we're the only stop in Texas this year for the 2024 tour. This thing tours all around the United States, and for us to be able to bring it to Frisco, Texas is an honor in itself. The 3/4 replica memorial is exactly what it is. It's the Washington, D.C. memorial that is located in Washington, D.C., and it travels all over the United States, and it's the size of a football field. I mean, it's massive.
Oh, wow.
It's
I
massive.
didn't know that. Wow.
It's going to be huge, and so there's activities every single night, but I don't want to jump ahead of you, but
No,
we've got to get this thing here. We've got to get it set up. We've got to have it prepared for over 10,000 visitors over the course of the 4 or 5 days that it's here.
Wow.
It's massive.
Wow. That's crazy. I was going to ask you, what are some of the obstacles you faced in that? That's a pretty big obstacle.
Just a lot of different logistics here and
Yeah.
there. We have 17 of us on our committee just for this wall, and I don't know how we could do it without everybody.
Wow. When you think of this particular project in itself, how does it differentiate from the other projects that you've worked with, and what really makes it like?
So as a post, we've always done it up really big for our Vietnam veterans.
Yeah.
I've got a heart for Vietnam veterans.
Yeah.
I myself, and I'm an Iraq War veteran, came home 2007, high fives, cheers, celebrations, thank you for your service. My dad didn't get so lucky, He pretty much got a bad deal, a bad shake on that one. It was a political war. And I tell people all the time, you can hate the war all you want to, but let's not hate the warrior. And I've made it my mission, personal mission, the VFW echoes it, that we're gonna make sure we honor every Vietnam veteran that ever served and make sure they know that they're loved and make sure that they know they're appreciated. And that's our way of doing it this year. Bringing this wall embodies healing. It allows them, Vietnam veterans and all veterans for that matter, may not have the mobility or the financial means to get to Washington, D.C. to see their friends and their buddies on that wall. But we're bringing it to Frisco, Texas so they can do that.
That's amazing. Now, I was going to ask you a question. Let me see if I remember it. Okay, so I was going to ask you. Oh yeah. Oh, within the VFW. What's the percentage of Vietnam veterans that are in your organization right now, or within in VFW as a whole?
So I can't speak to it as a whole, right?
Yeah,
but they're the backbone of our organization now. Our World War II and our Korean War veterans are gone, and so really we lean on our Vietnam veterans heavily for that foundation for us younger veterans. And so within the VFW, I would say we're about 50%.
Okay.
50% Vietnam veterans and older, 50% Vietnam and younger.
Wow.
And I'd have to humble plug, 23% women.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's a question I was going to ask you, what it's like. Yeah, I think that's one of the questions I have on here about, I'll get to that question in a few minutes.
All right.
What conversations or experience do you hope the wall that heals, what do you feel? What kind of conversation or experience do you hope the wall that heals will facilitate in the community or amongst other Vietnam veterans? Or
finding your name, finding your buddy's name on that wall that you served in combat with, is huge. Being able to pay your respects to do that. But one of my biggest things is I'm really excited about the youth that are coming to visit. The Frisco Independent School District is on board and bringing our students to visit this memorial and this exhibit. It's really important especially with me, I've got young kids, for them to understand, what our men and women did for this Vietnam conflict. It's huge. It's an education piece. The Mobile Education Center that comes with it is this big semi-truck that comes out with the wall, and we'll get to honor all of our Texas heroes there as well as the 58,281 on that wall.
Wow, that's crazy. That's so cool that that Frisco,
So cool.
the Frisco Independent School District is behind it. That's even better. I think as we move on generationally, some of that stuff gets forgotten, and
It does.
And so that's amazing. Yeah,
Keeping patriotism and Americanism alive within our community is our biggest goal.
that's awesome. I can't wait to see it. I didn't know it was as big as a football field.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow! Wow. Let's see here. Okay, so let's talk about we'll talk about women in at the VFW, right? What's the unique bond with your sisters in that separates, kind of differentiates between the men's camaraderie and the women's camaraderie?
Yeah, I don't want to focus too much on divisiveness
Yeah.
because women veterans, we're the same as any veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a woman veteran, but I'm a veteran first.
Right.
And I served my country just like you did. And my service isn't any more special than yours, and your service isn't any more special than mine. And we both did what we were called and asked to do, and we did it with pride. And I'd do it in a heartbeat if they do it over in a heartbeat. I'd have to hit the gym a little bit nowadays, but I'd redo it, in a heartbeat for sure. But just being a woman, being visible with my service, promoting the fact that I can be a mom and a woman and a career business person, and I could do all these things and still credit my foundation and my values towards my military service.
That's amazing. You're part of an organization where you said 23% are females, and, the other 67% are is it 67%? Yeah, 73%.
73%.
Yeah, so I did very bad at math in high school. So, no,
awesome.
but yeah, that's a unique distinction for you to be, the leader among men and women like
It's
that.
important for us women veterans to be visible with our service. I know it's hard. It's hard to be because we tend to get overshadowed a little bit. I tease my husband all the time. I don't have that cool U.S. Army hat to walk around Costco with, and I'm not dogging it at all. I mean, I love those guys that wear their hats and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's easy to identify them like
Yeah.
that. If I walked by you in the checkout line at Kroger, you'd probably never assume that I was a veteran. So it's really just an educational piece to the public. Like, hey, don't get offended if somebody doesn't recognize your service immediately. Use it as an education point.
Yeah.
Like, use it as an educational piece to educate them that, we serve too.
Yeah, you don't want to see, that's interesting you say about the hat, because you could be wearing a hat, but then somebody might think, oh, your husband must have served, or your
That's
son must
right.
have served, right?
I've got my license plate that my husband gets credit for all the time, and I've been asked, gosh, use it as an education point. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to dwell on it, but I've been asked why I'm wearing my husband's medals, and
Whoa.
yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy,
And I'm like,
yeah.
well, he has more than me,
Yeah.
but these are mine.
Yeah.
Just use it as an educational tool.
Yeah. All right, let's close this conversation off with a couple more questions. How do you believe the wall that heals will impact the Frisco community?
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Well, like I said, we have over 10,000 visitors that are expected to attend, probably more.
Yeah.
I'd really like to focus on the arrival of the wall.
Yeah, let's
it's
do
a
it.
semi-truck coming in. Our amazing motorcycle group is going to be escorting it in all around
wow.
the city of Frisco. And the procession will be passing by local businesses and schools for you to come out on the road and wave and clap and cheer it on as it's escorted into town. That's on April 30th. It's a Tuesday. We're partnering with one of our amazing partners, Baylor Scott and White Centennial. We'll be meeting there at Lebanon and Coit. We're going to escort this thing all around and end at the Grand Park site, which is Dallas North Tollway and the Cotton Gin. Fully police escorted.
Wow.
So we're going to make sure and welcome this thing in with, big honors. And then setup day. Setup day is Wednesday, May 1st. And we're going to need a ton of volunteers to come and help us unload this thing, set it up. Like I said, it's the size of a football field. So we need able-bodied volunteers, and you'll get a free lunch out of it if you come volunteer, thanks to Credit Union of Texas.
Nice.
They're providing lunch for all of our volunteers that day. But the real fun starts on Thursday, May 2nd.
Okay.
May 2nd is when it's open to the public. The wall is open 24 hours a day. You can come visit it during the day, at night, but on Thursday night, 7 o'clock, is the opening ceremony, and that's where you want to be. Major General James E. Livingston is a Medal of Honor recipient from the Vietnam War. He is a Marine Corps veteran. He's coming in from South Carolina specifically for this, to give a great keynote speaking engagement to all of the people in the audience. We've got some other amazing dignitaries coming, lots of high-ranking generals, lots of other dignitaries, and I don't want to let the cat. Well, I can let the cat out of the bag. There will be a traditional Vietnamese dragon dance.
Oh, wow.
For this, because our Vietnamese community is so appreciative and
beautiful,
so
yeah.
awesome and so just thankful for what our Vietnam veterans did for them. Some of them came over as children, as refugees, and really have our Vietnam veterans to thank for their livelihood as Americans today. So I don't want to get ahead of you,
No,
but
that's good, yeah.
Thursday night is going to be the event. We've got a lot of high-ranking dignitaries and a military-inspired drone show at the end of the night.
Oh, wow. That's a crazy, honestly, as you were talking, I got a little emotional inside. I didn't let it all out, but as a kid, my mind was like, keep your crap together.
It is going to be
it seems
really awesome.
Yeah,
it's
seems,
really,
yeah.
And that's what the VFW does. We want to make sure that all veterans are celebrated, but at this event, we're focusing on our Vietnam veterans.
I'm gonna see if I can get out there to just capture these moments. I want to do that for sure.
be
So
great.
I'll be there. Let's see here. Let's close the conversation off with something people might sink their teeth into. What advice would you give women aspiring to leadership roles within the military or veterans organizations?
Oh, that's a big one. I don't even feel like I'm qualified to answer that.
I think you are.
To be honest, I don't. One of the things that I learned early on is stay true to yourself, true to your values, and that's really helped me a lot. You do face challenges and throughout the thing, but you focus on the big picture. Stay the course. Really find your network and your people that surround you with love and that really want to be at your table.
Yeah.
And I've really done that with the VFW. I've found my people that I love to be around. And the Veteran Network, every time I leave an event, I'm happier than when I arrived. Yeah. Just because I enjoy being around other people with commonalities of sense of service. And I feel like people get me. Like I found my people,
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Well, when it comes to being a woman, I think it's the biggest challenge is, I think you just have to, it's hard, but we have to go a step further and prove yourself, and then eventually it'll come where people, start to see what you do and see the good things that you're doing. And my biggest thing is I love to support all veterans, but I really love to support my girls too.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Sheena, like I said before, you're the very first veteran that I interviewed in this illustrious career that I've been having. And now I host a podcast, Unfinished Business Podcast, a podcast for veterans pursuing new life missions. And your mission, I've been following your mission, or being side by side with you in this mission, watching you as an observer and interviewing you before.
Thank you.
And I still have all those clips of you and James playing around when the camera was,
Yeah.
you thought the camera was off. But no,
I
it's
just
been
saw him, by the way, the other day.
Oh, you did?
He's doing great, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
It's my bud.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on Unfinished Business Podcast. Podcast for veterans pursuing new life missions. Thank you so much for what you're doing in the community. I'm excited for this, for the Wall That Heals.
Me too.
Go out there and I'll be out there, take, capture moments and stuff like that, and really actually experience it as well. So I really appreciate all the work you're doing. I think a lot of veterans do, and I think the entire community does as well.
Thank you, Rush. That's very kind of you. I really appreciate you, and I just encourage anybody to come out during the Wall That Heals that's here at Grand Park. We'll have name rubbings where you can rub names on the wall, that you can take a memento home with you, and really just inspiring others and educating them about this particular conflict is huge.
Wow. It's a pleasure to have you, Sheena.
Thank you.
It's great reunion today.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Yes. All right, guys, that's it for the Unfinished Business Podcast, a podcast for veterans pursuing new life missions. As I always say, have peace and the light in you, and remember that the ocean refuses no river.